Hey everybody, welcome to the Star Wars Rebels After Show here on AfterBuzz TV, Season 3, Episode 10, 8, 12. Nobody knows. The numbering makes absolutely no sense at all. An inside man. We'll be breaking down the episode and talking about our thoughts and predictions for the future in just a moment.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I suppose I should have warned you about my I'm trying to think of the right
pre-show
word.
ritual.
Yeah, of like not really ever knowing what number episode it is, because like according to Wikipedia, it's one thing.
Wikipedia
and then
is
like,
very confusing. I was trying to get the numbers down, and then they didn't even have this episode's like bio up. I was like, that was a lot.
Yeah,
Nobody
exactly.
believes in numbers.
Right, well, exactly. Because I mean, sometimes they're like that first episode that's longer was one episode, and technically it's a movie, but actually it was two episodes, and who cares?
We have that on Z
Yeah,
Nation.
can't do it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And some of you may recognize this fine opening theme that we have chosen. If any of you are Disneyland enthusiasts,
Disney World as well.
It's the same music in Disney World. I haven't been to Haunted Mansion at Disney World in so long that I didn't want to say that for absolute certain. But we really wanted to open with like Thrawn's organ music,
and we couldn't find any creepy organ music, so it was just like Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, so
this is how we live our lives.
Apparently nothing comes up when you type in menacing organs into the YouTube
creepy
search engine.
organs too.
Stephen, our wonderful engineer, attempted to do for us. So thank you to him, and thank you to you guys for watching us right now. Welcome again to the Star Wars Rebels After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. If you have not done so already, go to iTunes, subscribe to us there, then you can take us with you on the go. You can listen to us talk about Star Wars while you're walking your dog, while you're driving to work, while you're doing your homework, as long as it's like art homework, because if it's like writing homework, you probably don't want to listen simultaneously. That might be distracting.
Been there, done that.
Also, if you are listening on iTunes, remember that you can also go over to YouTube and watch us even live, like is going on right now. If you're over on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Let us know what you think. We love hearing from you guys. And you can also tweet at us during the live show for those of you who are watching live using that hashtag ABTVRebels. You can also use that to tweet at us throughout the week. And we are also keeping up with the live chat. Let me introduce the fabulous panel of women we have assembled here today. Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, you can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet.
And the newest addition to our little rebel squadron
Shindig.
here. Yes, our
Very
little-
excited.
Yes, is Joelle Monique.
Hi guys, I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Joelle Monique and every week at blackgirlnerds.com.
And I am Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet wherever Emma Fyffes are sold at my name, Emma Fyffe. So, before we get into talking about the episode, Joelle, welcome.
Hi, so glad to be here.
Yes, tell us a little about yourself. Like, let's get to know you for a moment here.
I'm a Ravenclaw.
Okay, great.
Okay. I write for Black Girl Nerds. I would also be part of the Air Tribe. No, probably not water. I do water.
Okay.
This is how I just describe myself when I enter nerdy situations, is just houses and cups and
Absolutely.
things.
No, I understand. I always have a real dilemma when it comes to like what sort of bender I would be, so I just assume I'm obviously the Avatar.
I love it.
If you're a Ravenclaw, does that mean we have all 4 houses at the table?
Oh,
Do we? What are you?
Slytherin.
Yeah, we're Slytherin heavy.
Do we have Hufflepuff here? Is that
No,
what
I'm a
saying?
Gryffindor.
That's what I thought. It's hard to Hufflepuff. It's hard.
I'm Slytherin, but for the longest time I thought I was a Hufflepuff, so if I counted that,
You're
then
kind
yes.
of a Slitherpuff. You're both.
Yeah, that's kind of what I hear.
Sure.
So technically, yes, then we would have half a Hufflepuff. Does
Equally
that count?
deadly, coming and going.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk a little about this episode, because this confirmed a theory that was running rampant in the chat. I know a couple of weeks ago, Megan and I got into a very deep discussion about sort of what the future of a particular character was going to be, and it was proposed that he was perhaps, in fact, somebody who he did, in fact, turn out to be in this episode. And we are, of course, talking about Agent Kallus,
Yes.
our favorite sort of gray area bad guy.
So cool.
We were watching this, was it 2 nights ago?
Yes.
A little while ago, and it was at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and it's a really good thing that the neighbors happened to be out, because we were making noises.
Yeah.
Noises were made
Yeah.
We scared the cat. Like, it was whole 9 yards.
He gonna die.
He gonna
They
die.
will never kill David Oyelowo. Don't do this to me.
Oh no, he's doomed.
I mean,
I have been calling that for a while,
He
and I am
definitely-
just waiting for it to come
He
due.
definitely had that look at the end of the episode. He was like, well, your plans are always right, so this could be it for me. I wonder if he'll stay dedicated or if he'll switch back. Or if he'll join the Rebels, which is what I'm hoping for.
We've been saying for a while that the second he came out for the Rebels, the second he switched sides, he was hosed. Like, that has been the theory. And he has survived longer than that second, so good for him. But I don't think he's going to make it to the end of the season.
He and his Javert sideburns are dead as a
I
doornail.
mean, here's the thing, though, is for me, like, the fact that he went this sort of, like, fulcrum route and sort of, like, saw the error of his ways and is sort of trying to make amends gives me hope that he's going to live for longer than I thought he was going to live for. Because, I mean, especially after that episode with Zeb in the last season where the two of them were on the, like, frozen ice planet together and they had to cooperate in order to survive.
So great.
I thought at that point we're dealing with a Javert character, but there was that little glimmer of hope at the end of the episode when he goes back to his really Spartan-looking quarters.
Where
And
nobody cares about him and nobody notices that he's limping.
right. So, like, from that perspective, I did think, okay, yes, there is a chance that Kallus has actually had, like, he's sort of like
There's gonna be a turn,
Yeah. And that's obviously, at least to some extent, what is going on here.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, I think part of what prompted this was actually Thrawn being brought into the fold here, because Thrawn's methods are overly brutal.
Yes.
They're effective.
Very, very
but
effective.
They're overly brutal, and like
Poor Sumar learned this week.
Oh my God.
Horrible children. Like, I'm just like, no. Why, God? It's so cruel.
Oh gosh, yeah. No,
We
that
thought he was just going to jump off the bike or that he was going to get off it somehow. And then it's like, here's his burned helmet rolling to the feet of our
feel like-
character. It's like, oh, he is super dead.
He is
They just
literally
couldn't show it
dead.
on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that's one of the things that I think is, because here's the thing is I feel like, okay, so up to this point in the series our sort of main protagonists, with the exception of Maul showing up at the main antagonist rather, with the exception of Maul showing up at the very end of season 2, for the most part we have been dealing with the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
And the Inquisitors are basically hunting down the Jedi. And that's, I mean, sure, they're terrible people and they'll kill anybody who gets in their way, but like they really exist to try to eradicate the Jedi.
and murder children
Exactly.
and recruit more Inquisitors.
Exactly.
and-
But they're
not that bad
Very
guys.
straightforward.
They're very, very straightforward bad
yeah,
guys.
you kind of know what they're going to do.
Exactly.
I almost wish we had gotten a little bit more because of that sense of competition between the brothers and the sisters. I wish we
Right.
had gotten a little bit more of that. But yeah, I mean that aside, they are very straightforward. It's pretty black and white. They are traditional Sith Force users where there's not a lot of nuance to them.
Right.
We love them.
Oh yeah, no, they were
loved the
great
Seventh
villains.
Sisters, but yeah.
They're hounds. They're big and competitive, and you keep them to hunt. But
Right.
they're not good for much else.
Right,
They're
exactly.
Coyotes.
Yeah. And it's not to say that they are not intelligent. They're just not particularly creative thinkers. So they're that very sort of black and white, straightforward evil. And
I will say, with the exception of the Grand Inquisitor, given his backstory,
Right,
yes, as you know, the Temple Guard,
Yes.
which you get the little helmet in this
In
episode.
Thrawn's collection, which is just like, wow, look at how not okay I am with any of this shit.
Heartbreaking, but so great.
yeah, no, it's very true. Yeah, Thrawn's art collection is
So creepy.
it is really creepy because now he's got like the portrait of Hera's family. He's got that
Real creepy,
portrait of
by the way.
Ezra at like the when he was masquerading as a stormtrooper, like in the first season, in the episode where like he was in cahoots with not Dante Bosco but the other guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it is. It's just this growing collection of like
It's
stuff.
like a serial killer's trophy collection.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No.
This is actually the thing that makes me like Thrawn.
Oh, 100%.
The serial killer trophy collection, his lampshades, all the...
I was one of those people who early on, I'm like, this is not Clone Wars. And I was upset about it, but I kept watching because it's Star Wars. And now as we get into these, like once they brought Maul back, and then now with Thrawn, I'm like, real villains! Like, yes! Like, I love really complex, like, and especially, like, Thrawn just knows everything. Immediately, he's like, they're not headed that way. We gotta try something different. I'm like, how do you know?
I'm pretty sure Thrawn can see the script. That he just kind of peeks over the fourth wall and goes, oh,
Yes.
they're going that way.
I was gonna say
That's a very obvious tactic
That's
for the
what the red
rebels
eyes
to
are
take.
for. They give you the
seeing
power
through
to see through the
fiction.
fourth wall into the writer's room.
We're getting to that point because he's almost too perfect. Like, I'm getting to the point where it's going from, this is a really great, intriguing, smart villain to, how
do you know
just
everything?
I need to see show your work. Show your work, because I think you're looking up answers in the back of the book.
Agreed.
No, but I understand what you're saying, though, Joelle, about Thrawn, because, and this goes back to what I was saying about the Inquisitors. So, yes, the Inquisitors were bad guys. The Grand Inquisitor certainly had a little bit of an interesting backstory.
More nuance to
exactly.
him,
It was
at
a little
the
more
very
nuanced than, you know, the Seventh Sister and the Fifth Brother, who very much were like, we're in competition with each other, and then there were other random brothers that showed up as well and all died.
With cool helicopter lightsabers before they fell to their inevitable
Hi,
sad
Robbie.
death.
Bye, Robbie.
Oh, poor eighth brother. Oh, we knew so little of him.
We hardly knew ye.
But
A whole 42 minutes of screen time.
But what I'm saying is, like, to this point, the most really terrifying villain we've had before Thrawn, and even, you know, Maul aside, who is, yes, definitely a villain, but also kind of falls into this, like, I'm on my own side, like, gray area. I mean, very
He's your
dark
crazy
gray.
uncle.
Very dark gray,
Yeah.
but still a gray area.
Maul is Ezra's crazy uncle.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
Who deals with black magic.
But evil.
Yeah, so basically we were dealing with, okay, so at this point, like, Vader is still kind of our scariest villain, and we already know what ends up happening to him. And so, like, even though, yes, at this point in Rebels, like, he is very much in power, he is very terrifying, like, at the point that we see him in A New Hope, where you're like, what on earth is that?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
can you remember the first time you saw Darth Vader ever?
Yeah, it was real scary.
I will maintain that Vader never scared me in the
Really?
movies. He didn't scare me until he was introduced in Rebels, and then I was like, oh, God!
You know,
I understand now.
They actually did a really great job of making him more terrifying. That low shot, he's so tall in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, it's just very imposing. And then, oh my gosh, when he just first steps off the ship, I totally agree with you. I was terrified. I was 2 when I first saw Star Wars.
Yeah,
I come from a
same.
sci-fi
Yeah.
like nerd house. But this, to be terrified at like 24 in a cartoon, I
Yes.
was like, well, this is really good work.
I understand everyone else's nostalgia now.
the slow, deliberate movements.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I started with Return of the Jedi, so that's not quite as impactful
Right,
an introduction to Darth Vader. And by the time I started watching these movies, first of all, I watched them all out of order, and then also everybody had spoiled it for me, the whole Luke, I am your father thing.
Of course.
Because it's just part of pop culture now. So
Right.
like that.
See, to me, that at 4, when I saw Empire Strikes Back, that threw me for a loop. I was like, he's what now?
What? Say what? But when I finally went back and watched, A New Hope again, after being a teenager instead of a kid,
Sure.
I watched it again. I was like, yeah, like holy cow, this is this character's introduction. I was like, damn.
Yeah, exactly. So, but basically what I'm saying is that it's like, we have this villain who is terrifying and awesome and done extremely well in this show, but at the same time, this is familiar territory.
Yes,
But
that is
then
very true.
finally, this season, we're introduced to a really terrifying bad guy who we truly believe is a threat and could really tear everybody apart.
And he's a mastermind on top of
Yes.
all of that.
He's terrifying in a very different way from Vader, because
Very different.
Vader is the dragon. He's the right-hand man. He is the show of force.
Yeah.
Thrawn is the chess master, and that is an entirely different kind of power.
Yeah.
And again, I'm starting to get to the point where I think he can see the script. So who even knows?
It would be really nice to see Thrawn in a complicated situation that he can't quite figure out. Like, I'm curious, as you say, I want to see him tackle these issues. I want to see him show his work. And like when you're cornered, how does Thrawn react then?
Yeah.
There's nobody there
Like,
to back him up.
actually see some problem solving.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
right now, he's seeing the chessboard from an entirely different perspective than everybody else, and he's miles ahead of everybody else. So
Right.
it would be nice to see him caught unawares and to see him think his way out of that situation to really show like just how intelligent he is. Yes, he's very slow and very deliberate with his overall strategy, which is great, and the way he speaks and everything like that. But to actually have to be like on the fly, come up with something brilliant, like that would be, I think, something that would even more so display his intelligence and how much of a force he is to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because with the Inquisitors, even within their introductions, you can see they're not immediately all powerful. They can be fought, they can be beaten, and you see them come back and think their way around it and fight their way around it.
Right.
Thrawn has been immediately perfect in every situation, every time we see him. And it's kind of starting to break my suspension of disbelief here.
I'm still
because
having
if you're
fun.
that, it's starting to edge up on the he's too perfect and this isn't fun anymore.
See, for me, I think that it is still fun for me because
Same here.
Obviously, there's a lot we're not seeing, and there has to be flaws in this plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's what I want to see. I'm with Megan. I want to see him actually have to come up with something. I want to see him be wrong and recover.
I think it'll be interesting as they start doing the investigation of who amongst their ranks. Like, it kind of seemed like maybe he knew already, which I'm really hoping is not the route they go. But to watch him actually go through the ranks and see if maybe he's able to distance himself from people, if maybe they turn against him. Like, I just want to see him in an emotional state because he's so like, don't adjust your emotions. Like, we're gonna go tactical. And the chess master thing, as you mentioned. But to see him get hit in an emotional spot and how that makes him react, I just want to see him in different situations.
Yeah. The only time we've seen him do that is when somebody insulted Art to his face.
Yeah.
but he was quick to recover.
Yes.
It's okay. It's just a peon. They don't understand.
Kiki in the chat says he just bribes Pablo Hidalgo and is like, yo, let me see those script notes.
Yep. Pretty much.
Perfect.
Oh my God.
Amazing. But sort of just to circle back to what we were talking about with Thrawn and how like you want to see him, you want to see like what gets to him emotionally. It's kind of like with Agent Kallus that like he was kind of this cold, methodic, like by the book imperial officer, and then when we saw him stranded with Zeb, we saw
His humanity.
and he started to embrace his own humanity, as we clearly saw in this episode. So I understand where it's like you can't have a villain that's just like all perfect evil.
Yeah, exactly. Not
Again,
just one thing.
It gets unbelievable and it gets kind of boring. Like, well, he's back and he's interesting, but he's never gonna. We know how this is gonna play out.
I'm with you, Emma. I'm still having fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like later on down the line, we're gonna see that. We're gonna see either he slips up because Phoenix Squadron will figure out a way to maneuver around whatever masterful plan he has set up. Or, they're going to take him unawares in a way he won't expect. Or he'll win, and Phoenix Squadron will have to bounce back. And I don't know if because I don't see him being the through villain throughout the end of the series. I feel like this is kind of
I'm really
it's sad
curious
because I only see him being here this one season and then being called away to another part of the Empire.
It's interesting, but I mean, so to sort of draw that connection once again between like Thrawn and Kallus is that now Kallus is in a situation where he has he's sort of come to question the ways of the Empire. And then I think that, somebody was mentioning earlier that like Kallus being brought in feels like it could have very much been part of like his ultimate decision to be like, no, like you brought in this really extreme, like cold-blooded murderer, basically.
An actual person who committed genocide.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kallus took credit for a genocide.
Right.
Thrawn might have actually committed one. At least one.
Yes. Probably definitely multiple accounts in this.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Like
without
basically,
question.
and
Without
basically
question.
said like when they brought up when Thrawn was first introduced, where it's like, oh, he was really successful on this mission, and they're like there were more civilian casualties than like actual deaths of enemies, and it's like
Unacceptable.
Whatevs, we won.
Yeah, it's totally.
Part of the Empire's motive always.
Yeah.
It's like, but did we win though? Did we plant our flag? Good, move forward.
Could you imagine if they actually talked like that?
But did
Kallus
we
is
win
like,
though?
dude.
Luke in the chat has said my favorite thing so far at about the point that I was starting to think it. Put Thrawn in a room with Chopper.
Wow.
Because you want the weird, unpredictable bit.
Wow.
You put him in the room with the homicidal robot. Let's go.
Emma
Let's
called
go.
it. If that's gonna be the case,
Exactly. I said the Chopper's going to be Thrawn's undoing, you guys.
Wow.
Well, and part of that is, and we were talking about this while we were watching it, droids are invisible. Droids are second-class
see that
citizens
here,
if they
for
are
sure.
considered citizens at all. And it's continually Chopper in a new coat of paint.
Yes.
Just going through it, being like, I totally belong here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And no one cares.
getting to which is probably the ideal job for him because he gets to torture other robots
Oh
like
my God.
as he goes along.
I literally cannot get enough of Chopper in disguise.
I know.
It just is so funny to me.
And no one has figured out to be suspicious of that specific model of droid yet.
It's true.
No one.
And I think it's really funny as a viewer because for us, we're looking at Chopper, who is an astromech droid, who has a very distinctive personality.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really like mask that personality when he's pretending to be an imperial droid. So
Like that would be the best as an undercover agent, it would be so great if you didn't have to hide your personality. You're like,
Right.
yeah, you just put on a new trench coat every time and boom, you're good to
Instantly
go.
fit in. Definitely.
I am invisible by virtue of being mechanical.
Quick question as a newbie: Is Chopper everyone's favorite droid from the Star Wars? From all of the Star Wars series, Chopper's my absolute favorite.
I'm particularly fond of, what was it, A5?
AP5.
AP5.
Yeah.
AP5 is
I
pretty great.
adore AP5.
His Alan Rickman voice is so great.
Oh, I know.
I need another episode where it's just him and Chopper. Like, I need that in my
That
life.
would be really satisfactory.
Give me another one.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to be around and they were going to be the
More.
most opposite of C-3PO and R2-D2 that you could possibly be.
Yeah.
But no, I love Chopper. Especially when like the main sort of, astromech droid we've been with is R2-D2 and he's this really like cute, endearing personality.
And then BB-8 shows up and he's just
Right.
like, oh dear God, you're a kitten.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're just like, how can we make R2-D2 cuter? Well, let's just make it a little ball droid. Everyone's going to love that.
Let's just make it a soccer ball.
Right, exactly. But then, like, to have Chopper as, like, your other sort of main droid of that
Yes.
class, like, what a difference. And he's just, he's great.
I think Chopper doesn't take orders from anyone.
No, nobody.
He
Literally
doesn't
no.
care.
I loved
Hera.
a little bit.
It's clear he respects her as captain. He's like, okay.
It's like, you did save my life, so...
I'll kill you last in the robot uprising.
I love, and Griffin just pointed this out in the chat as well. When Kallus first, confronts Kanan and Ezra in the
That scene was
elevator,
so great.
and he's like, Zeb trusted me. I got Sabine out of the Imperial Academy. Your droid trusts me, and Ezra's like, nah, I wouldn't really like.
That's not a vote of
good
confidence.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's Chopper.
And granted, Kallus has done some pretty terrible things. I mean, he was very complicit in the minister's murder, along with being responsible for many rebels getting killed as well. But like the fact that he is Fulcrum, he's been giving them this information, and Ezra still felt the need to force push him through a pane of glass. I'm like, dude, it's not like the movies. That is painful.
I laughed.
Favorite moments in this season because they've Ezra and
Kanan.
thank you have been at such odds lately, and it's been really disheartening to me because I love their father-son kind of
Absolutely,
mentorship
yeah,
thing, and
I
so
agree.
to see them agree on something but be mad about the fact that Kanan didn't get to do it,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a precious moment. We need more of this.
Yeah, that was pretty spectacular.
And it's
I
like,
wanted
we
to
need to
force
make it look
push him through a
convincing.
pane of glass.
Yes, convincing. yes, it is. Dear God. Ow.
And poor Kallus is like,
Kallus
it's fine.
died that day.
I'm just bleeding internally.
Yeah.
It's fine.
All the blood's on the inside, which is where it's supposed to be. So
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yep. I love that Clancy Brown showed up again for a moment at the beginning of this
Yes.
episode.
I always love when Clancy Brown shows up in anything
Yes.
animated. It
I had
always
to
makes
look
me so
his name
happy.
up again because to me I was just like, oh, it's Clancy Brown. It's Ryder Rosati. But
Yeah, it's Clancy Brown.
yeah,
Let's be real.
yeah.
Honestly, that does sound like a Star Wars name.
It
so.
does. Like that could be that I could see Clancy Brown hanging out with Lando Calrissian. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Being scoundrels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like when they bring in a character like him back, and the fact that we returned to Lothal in this episode was really surprising. Like, we've been away for so, like, it feels like it's been so long
yeah.
since we've been on Lothal. What was it? The end of the beginning of season 2, I think, was the last time.
well, no, it was
they
one
came
episode
back,
where they
came
went to
back,
yeah,
and that's where we meet Ryder.
Yes.
But that was one episode,
Yeah.
like, out of all of season 2.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
It's cool to see the rebels have built up their ranks and are like, they're like, we got this. It's on lock. And then it kind of feels nice that they don't even need to be there. Like, Lothal's handling its stuff.
Well, and Thrawn made a point that they have ties to Lothal. They will keep coming back to Lothal, so I would not be surprised if our season 3 finale, Last Stand, is on or around Lothal.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Thrawn's going to set that trap.
Governor Pryce, she's the governor of Lothal, and she's the one that brought Thrawn into this in the first place.
Right.
So, like, it's nice to actually see her on the planet that she's governing.
Right, because they referenced her so many times in season 1, and they're like, Minister Tua was like, "Oh, Governor Pryce is away, and I'm like acting in her stead." And now
And now
she
she's
is.
really dead. So Governor Pryce is back like, well, my fill-in called in pieces, so I need to be back.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kallus and Vader and
What do you-
Inquisitor.
okay,
Thanks, guys.
So what do you guys think her deal is? Because like to me, she seems real evil and real in cahoots with Thrawn.
I feel like she just really believes in the cause. Like,
Okay.
in that kind of, I can't remember Hitler's wife's name, but in that sense of like, no, we will do what it takes to get these things. That she was ready to burn her entire crew when at the mention of someone being disloyal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seeing her so infuriated at the idea of a spy in her ranks, in the imperial ranks, it infuriated her. So I have to agree with you. I think she really is just kind of a true believer, and or she was placed in this position of power. Like she could have been someone like the minister who was just a civil servant, and then she was placed in this position of power by the Empire, and just was like, hey, this is the thing that gives me the power that I want, so like let's kind of just roll with this.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying to figure out if she really has drunk the Kool-Aid or if she's just looking at Thrawn like, yes. doing a full-on Bellatrix Lestrange, like I am evil in my own right, but hello.
I mean,
I'm going to be more evil just for you.
At the-
Notice me,
I would
senpai.
love that. I would love that if that were like plot twist. I'm in love with you. I know.
I don't
I can't
care.
But no, the just the idea, like at the very least, I don't think she's romantically interested in him. Although
Yeah, I don't think so either. I wouldn't
love
hate
it.
that, but
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. I actually kind of like
get
it.
on it. I will be there for it.
Someone make that video to like Careless Whisper.
But
just the saxophone part on repeat.
Slow, a lot of fades, a lot of soft effects.
But you really do get the sense that even though Thrawn is this very cold person, they really do seem to have this mutual respect for one another. And it's like,
Yeah.
I kind of want to see where that came from, because I feel like Thrawn is very polite. He's very polite to everybody he meets, but I feel like you really have to do something incredible
Right.
to earn his respect.
Absolutely. And I mean, and like, she is the governor of a planet.
Yeah,
She's-
that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not like she's a high-ranking military officer.
That's also
That's
true.
also true.
So it's very interesting that she and Thrawn have this kind of like partnership, mutual trust.
It's funny that you say that, because I actually think she is a very important part, in at least in some regard, like in terms of maybe a consulting fashion, because she's away from Lothal.
No, I
for
agree
so
with you,
much.
absolutely.
So I really do feel like the Imperial Army really does value her and her
Right.
opinion in a number of different ways.
Yeah.
It's also one of the most troublesome planets too.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
We have Megan Rickards in chat with my new favorite theory. I think she's only interested in Thrawn so she can cut him down and take his position. Chad has also decided
wouldn't
that the
discount
ship
that.
name for that is Prawn.
Thank you guys. That's
Which
amazing.
I'm down.
I don't like that name.
Megan doesn't like anything.
Name.
Yeah.
Or it could be Thrice.
I like that better.
That's still also really a word, Megan. I'm surprised that you're
It's
on board.
also the
Not if
name
it's
of a
spelled with a
band
Y.
I liked in high school.
Nice.
It's
Okay.
spelled with a Y, Thrice.
Did you have something else from chat, Katie?
No, I just enjoyed all of that very much.
Perfect. Yeah,
Thank you for
but
that.
But I'd like to say I would not discount Megan Rickards' theory at all.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like if it turned out that Governor Pryce was like, psych, I'm trying to take over the whole Imperial force, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
See, I don't see her looking to cut down Thrawn like in a weird backstabby sort of way. She doesn't strike me as that.
No.
Again, because of that mutual respect, I could
No,
definitely see her using him
Yes,
to get ahead, but I don't see her like betraying
Seem
him.
power hungry to me though. I really feel like all of her actions are just in service to her job. I don't see her
That
as somebody
could be
who's like
interesting.
clawing her way to the top. And again, it'll be interesting to see when somebody pushes her in the wrong direction, in a direction we haven't seen, and how, because that seems to be when Star Wars characters reveal themselves. When you're pushing just the opposite direction, they're like, psych, actually I'm this. So I don't know. I just don't see her as power hungry at this point. She just seems to want to keep control over what she has.
Yeah, see, I think I disagree. I think this is me projecting onto her what I want,
Like, if you were
her
in
to
her
be.
shoes.
Exactly, that like I want her to be just as smart and evil as Thrawn is, because I want like a real good lady villain in Star Wars.
Well, yes.
So I
Well,
wouldn't be
yes.
surprised if at the end of this they're like, oh, by the way, Thrawn, we need you somewhere else. I mean, Rogue One is happening over here. By the way, and then she steps in and takes his place, and then we have
Sure.
our season 4 of Thrawn.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I'm very interested to see where she goes as a character, certainly, because I do very much enjoy her.
Yeah, and again, with Lothal being a very important place
Yes.
to our heroes, the current dictator of the planet, call her a governor, cover whatever you want. She is the
Current dictator of the
She's the
planet.
current dictator of the planet. Ultimately, yeah, if they're going to keep coming back here, they're going to keep having clashes with her, regardless of who she has there to help.
Yeah. I don't know. Only time will tell.
Yes.
We spent a lot of time talking about the villains and the not so much villains anymore.
The moral gray area, sideburns,
The double
gentlemen.
agents.
And obviously Chopper, because anytime Chopper appears in an episode, which is pretty much every episode, you spend at least 5 to 10 minutes talking about him.
I'm predicting who he's going to kill next.
Yes. Let's talk a little about like what was going on with our heroes in this episode.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because when we're hanging out with Ryder, which is really cool, again, Clancy Brown is great, but they bring in a fellow who knew Ezra from childhood and was
Yes.
friends with his parents. Do you guys feel like it's a little contrived to bring in a character like that and say, oh yeah, I was totes friends with your parents, oh, look how much you've grown, da-da-da-da, only to, like, kind of artificially manufacture drama for when that character inevitably gets killed 5 minutes later?
It does
Yeah.
seem like a really big sympathy grab. Like, here's the backstory. We immediately want the
know.
audience to empathize with this person because this person being one of the rebels on Lothal isn't a good enough reason to empathize with them already?
Yeah.
Question mark. And, oh, now we're going to kill him. Ezra,
Yeah.
are you sad yet?
I didn't think they needed to be like when he was introduced. I had a moment because again, like we did go back to Lothal somewhere sort of in the middle of season 2, and I was like,
Was he
did
there?
we meet this guy already? Is this someone I should know? But we had never seen this guy before, so
I've been here the whole time.
bye.
I mean, I've noticed that they don't really like to kill people that we've grown attached to. Like you can
Yeah,
be maimed,
that's
you can lose
true.
your sight, you can be pushed off planet, but you don't die. And I feel like, yes, I do miss that aspect of Clone Wars is everything to me, and it was death everywhere and mayhem, and it was so awesome. But I can really appreciate it hit me more like, okay, look.
And people don't get killed in every episode of Rebels, so because again, it's it's a different kind of show at this stage.
Yeah. Well, and I just feel like, look, they did go back to Lothal, and like everything about Lothal is Ezra. Like when he's there, he just identifies with everything, and so it's a little bit too easy. But I feel like we would have cared either way. It doesn't bother me so much.
Yeah, no, I don't think it bothered me so much as I felt like they didn't need to give it all of the details that they did. They could have just been like, here's this dude on Lothal.
Give me like 2 more minutes of that awesome bike chase in the beginning.
Right, exactly.
Just like he's a rebel on Lothal. That is all the reason we need to sympathize with him. That's it.
And he died in a horrific way.
Right.
Oh my god.
Oh my
It was like a gunfire assassination.
It was
of
terrible.
just everyone having to stand and watch and him being like, nope, gotta get off. You can't. I'm killing you now. Horrible.
The test isn't over yet.
Oh, so creepy. Lars Mikkelsen is everything to me in this role.
And I honestly thought that it was going to be, he's going to go flying, he's going to jump off, something. Nope. Burned helmet like a tumbleweed. Like, God.
It had to be held back, and I was like, oh god, not again.
What does the rest of the room look like? I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Nope.
It was a little. It was a
spatter
It was
patterns.
kind of a little.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not. You are not.
It was a little reminiscent because it was like off screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was off screen and we just saw like, oh, that was clearly terrible. It was kind of like when the Inquisitors got killed by Maul last season.
Yeah, or like when the officers were decapitated by the Inquisitor in season
That's
one.
what I keep going back. I don't think we've had a civilian death this graphic since There Goes Your Head. Bye.
Yeah.
Off with their heads.
Yeah.
Ooh. Just like, ooh.
So Ivan says in the chat that Sumar, that character, was in one of the previous episodes on Lothal.
Which one?
Yeah.
Cite your sources,
Oh,
friend.
he was apparently in season 1.
Okay.
It's been, I have
Wow,
to admit, it's been a moment since I watched season 1.
I don't remember him in any capacity.
Yeah.
I feel like at that point you should have been like, oh yeah, we've seen you before. You did X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the audience can be like, oh, okay, we've seen him before. And
it-
have that reason as opposed to, here's my backstory with your family. I'm gonna die now.
Yeah, I agree. I would have preferred like a reference to exactly what he'd done before, because certainly like he's not as memorable a character as like Ryder is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like there was a
Did
whole episode.
Sumar introduce Ezra to Ryder? Is that when we met him? Or
No, because it was season 1.
They found him in the, I don't know.
Yeah. He may have also been in the episode with.
And yeah,
but
I
you
might
know,
just be
guys,
completely talking nonsense if that's the case. Feel
Yeah.
free to correct me.
They're
but
saying season 1, episode 4, which is like, how many years ago was that?
right?
Was that the
Like
one with the cats?
3? There were many with the cats.
I know.
But yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've watched season 1.
Yeah. Well, and at this point too, it's like you're so wrapped up in like the bigger picture of the rebellion that it's like.
Who the heck is this guy?
It's like that. I mean, if you wanted to make this NPC's death a little bit more impactful, then sprinkle him in a few more places. That's literally all you have to do.
Yeah,
to just
like-
make it a little bit more like, oh dang. I feel like the way he died is definitely horrific enough.
Absolutely.
I mean, when they kill Clancy Brown, we're all going to be real sad about it. But
Yeah.
that's because we've gotten to know him.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like if you want to manufacture this backstory for this character, all you have to do is sprinkle him in 1 or 2 more places, and that's literally all you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, it's like one way or another, this character was not executed in such a way that I specifically cared about him, but I would be heartless to not feel some feelings over that death.
We cared because he died horribly. And that's kind of a terrible reason to care about a character.
That's hilarious. Ivan says that he remembered Sumar, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
And,
Mustache guy.
Mustache guy. But he didn't remember Ryder. So we're not alone. We're not alone. But how could you forget Clancy Brown?
There was an entire episode devoted to him.
The George
okay.
Clooney of Rebels? Come on now.
He's amazing.
It's all good. There are so many characters in Star Wars, you guys. You cannot possibly be expected to remember every single one.
Yeah,
You have to come up with nicknames to like classify them.
Like
It's fine.
mustache guy.
Yeah, like-
Mustache guy. Or just Clancy Brown.
exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, how interesting though. Like, what a great plan from the rebels to actually like infiltrate the factories.
Yes.
And sabotage speeder bikes and other weapons. Like, that's a great plan.
Yeah, it's a really good plan. Yeah, because it's like you're going to the inside source and like it's like cutting off, the tree at the roots. I don't know if that's a good metaphor for that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're stopping things
poisoning
before they
the
Poisoning the roots,
Yeah.
exactly. That's better.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so I really liked that was the plan and the setup for this infiltration at
Yeah.
the beginning of the episode. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, well, and then, they got out of there with the plans for that TIE destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be fun and interesting and very, very problematic
Yes.
for them down the line.
Absolutely. Speaking of ships in Star Wars, you guys, I guess I'm going to classify this as news and gossip.
Definitely gossip.
Well, it's gossip for sure. The news part is questionable.
Guns and ships, and so the balance shifts.
Exactly. So earlier today, if any of you guys were on Twitter, you might have seen a couple of images making the rounds. One of them was tweeted by one of the editors at comicbook.com, depicting a shot from some of the most recent footage of the upcoming feature film Rogue One. And you will notice at the bottom of the screen there is a ship that looks like it's perhaps fairly similar in composition to our old friend, the Ghost. Also on Twitter, a little bit later today, Freddie Prinze Jr. retweeted a similar image of the same image from Rogue One and actually circled the ship that you're supposed to be looking at.
Right here.
And that one.
Yes.
I love the way he tweeted it. He was like, could it be?
Yeah, to be clear, he didn't circle it. The guy who tweeted it at him did, but he did retweet it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you think, guys? Could it be?
I'm going with Easter egg because,
Yes.
again, the second you put something in a movie that is years after the series, you spoil things that are happening in the series.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just Easter egg.
I kind of have to agree. It's probably just a fun little nod to
Yes.
the show because, again, all the producers are, who are working
Yeah.
on the show or working on the movies. So, like, everybody's on the same page. So I feel like that's a nice way to give a nod to the animated series that's out right now.
Yeah.
Because you don't get a ton of acknowledgement. You get lots of acknowledgement from the series for the films,
Yeah.
but
Right.
not so much the other way around. So I think that's
Exactly.
a fun little wink and a nod. But yeah, at the same time, I don't see it being anything more than that, which is unfortunate
No. I
because
know.
like I would love to see these characters like in the film universe,
Like
but
an old Ezra just like walking by. I'd be like, yay! You wouldn't even
I've
that
been
old.
fighting
Old Ezra, don't be silly. He's dead. Sorry.
I mean,
I'm really glad I'm not the only one who kind of lives in that camp.
If anyone's gonna make it to old age, it's gonna be Kanan because he's blind and he'll be sad
You know what?
and filled with regret.
Oh, I was gonna go with Chopper. Chopper will outlive them all.
Absolutely.
We might be
outlive
in
them all.
predictions territory now, and I don't even
no,
care.
but what I was gonna say though is that for me, until Rebels is like, if Rebels ends and we find out that Hera in fact survives through all of Rebels, which I really think she might, and that she's still out there somewhere fighting the rebellion, then that's absolutely the Ghost.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But one way or another, it's still just an Easter egg.
Yeah, yeah.
But still, but nice for fans of the animated series.
Yeah, exactly. And once the series ends, we will know for sure because if the series ends and our crew survives, yeah, 100% the Ghost.
So in like 3 years from now, we'll come back to this and be like,
It was them. It was them all along.
Watch him just blow it up in this scene.
And that's how their story ends.
We wrapped it up for you guys. Don't worry, you can go home now.
this isn't where my story ends. This is where his story ends.
Yep. Yeah, so that's it for news and gossip. Let's talk a little more about iTunes, because
Woo.
apparently we have a nice new iTunes review to share. Yes, am I crazy?
Yeah, but I need a minute because my
No
iPad
problem.
likes to close
Guys,
them.
iTunes, if you leave us reviews in the iTunes store, it's a great way to let our producers at AfterBuzz here know that you like us getting together and talking about Star Wars Rebels every week. It makes us look really good, basically, to number one, our producers who keep saying, yes, you can keep doing the show, and also to outside eyes, be it at like Disney XD or Lucasfilm, to be like, oh, they are legit. Maybe we should let people from the show go be on their show when their schedules are not too crazy to do so.
Hi, Disney people. What's up?
Yes.
We're available.
Yes. And if you do leave us an iTunes review, then we will give you a little shout out on the show. Katie?
Like this, we have Holy Fulcrum with 5 exclamation points from Prodigal358. Hi, everyone. Since you mentioned the theory about Agent Kallus being Fulcrum, I couldn't stop thinking about it until this past episode. I shall never doubt you all again. You should have never doubted us in the first place.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
There it is.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How are you thanking the person who left the iTunes review or me?
Both.
Fantastic.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yes. Again, thank you so much, guys, for leaving us those iTunes reviews. We do really, really appreciate them. And now, let's officially move on into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So did everyone see the trailer for next week? For our
I didn't
mid-season finale.
I didn't see the trailer, but I definitely, if you go to like Wiki and they have a really quick synopsis.
Yeah.
This is the point where the Clone Wars people start crying, I think, because we see Maul. We see what looks to be the Darksaber on an altar.
Yeah.
And there is Mandalorian writing on a wall. And
Yes!
one of my friends is a really big Clone Wars Rebels fans, and she's like, no, that says Kenobi. I'm like,
Guys, I can't handle it. I'm not prepared emotionally. Woo! Okay, it's cool. It's good. That's very exciting, particularly the Darksaber, which is the best.
And the shrine, you have to help me with this name, but the shrine is to the woman that Obi-Wan had the thing with, whose name that is absolutely escaping me.
The queen chick?
Oh, yeah.
I think
What
so.
is her name?
Starts with an S, right?
Oh, the blonde one,
the
yeah.
one that Maul murdered. Like,
I
super
cannot
murdered.
recall her name, but she wore flowers in her hair and she was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, guys.
She's dead now.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
So, yeah, that's that's gonna be it.
Listen, guys, I have been, since that episode...
Princess Satine.
Satine,
Thank
you.
you, Griffin, in the chat.
Thank you, Chad.
So
Jeez.
can we safely assume that is going to be in the next episode?
I mean, listen.
Lie down and cry. It's like that thing, lie down, try not to cry more.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
that's gonna be my life.
Is like, that to me would be amazing, to like get to see Obi-Wan and Maul have like the duel they deserve.
Yes. Yes.
That would
We
be
have
all
a
sorts
correction
of-
that it is Duchess Satine.
Duchess Satine,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
She was not a queen, but she had
She
her
ran her planet like Amidala.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, royalty in Star Wars is very confusing because
Right.
apparently you can be a queen and a senator, but also then you can't, and queens
Right.
are elected, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
It depends on the planet, I suppose.
That's
It
why
does.
that's why I feel like we're not like governor. We don't really know what that means in the Star Wars world.
No, it could be Grand High Poobah for all we know.
Exactly.
And I would love to see a planet where the leader is the Grand High Poobah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sort of immediate predictions. Wow, I can't wait. I mean, the mid-season finales are, we're gonna have a little break after this. Probably come back sometime in the end of January. So like the next
2 months.
the next
month and a half.
episode is gonna something's gonna happen.
I think as far as immediate predictions go, I think the thing that we've been building to all season is Ezra's friction with the rest of the team.
Yes.
And it's going to hit its breaking point.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be the impetus for whatever it is that happens.
All I have is that this mid-season finale is going to hurt us terribly and leave us in piles crying with each other, waiting for it to come back.
Ezra's been doing a lot of his own stuff without permission, just kind of going off, and it's kind of worked out. And he's feeling big in his britches. He's feeling very lucky, and I think he'll pull another one of those hero stunts where he thinks he's making the right decision, and he'll wind up screwing his team over big time.
And Ezra has this like terrible tendency to put a lot of faith in people who he really shouldn't.
Who don't deserve
You know,
it.
it's like Hondo being
Maul,
one example.
Maul,
but
Hondo again,
Right,
Maul
Maul again.
more,
Yeah.
still Hondo. Mostly just those two,
Yeah.
honestly.
But still,
Let's be
but,
real.
But that's the thing is, like, because, and it comes from a good place of, like, no, I believe that, like, people really are good and they, like, want to help me, and I'm making this great decision on my own and teaming up with this person who can really help out our cause.
Well, and
Or like, I don't really trust him, but you do.
But he does.
There was
yeah.
talk in chat a week or two ago about Ezra and Maul having a Force connection, and this episode being about Ezra trying to get the heck away from that.
Oh,
So that could be
interesting.
interesting.
Yes. Well,
Because
Trying
my
and
understanding
failing,
is
most
it's
likely.
very difficult to break those without one person dying.
I mean, Ahsoka
Yeah.
couldn't do it. Like, so
Yeah.
it makes, I don't think Ezra is there yet.
no, definitely not.
Oh.
Oh,
Or
man.
spoiler alert, like Ahsoka comes in at the last minute and,
And
fixes
saves
everything.
As you do.
She better
That
not
would
be
be-
dead.
that
That's
would be-
all I need
That would
in my
be
life.
one Deus Ex Machina I would be totally fine with.
Yep. Yes.
Totally fine. But yes, alas, we shall have to wait until next week to find out. So, in the meantime, Megan, where can people find you on the internet?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguin. It's TheMenguin. I'm also in a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz TV. I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. I also did an I Talk Movies earlier on Popcorn Talk today, so please check that out as well. And for the Movie Chick, I did a trailer review of the Mummy trailer. So go take a look at that.
Yeah.
So you can hear my thoughts.
Katie Cullen.
I have to say this before my spiel. Justin von Volkenberg in the chat says, remember, Maul has a sale going on. Everything is half off. I like you so much. Anyway, yes, I am Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I am also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. Basically live in the studio. Z Nation is on Mondays. We have 2 episodes left. You see us here on Tuesdays. Wednesdays is Arrow. Thursdays alternates between Robots in Disguise and Ruby. This week it is Robots in Disguise. It is the season finale for the tiny little 6-episode season that we have going on. So it should be fun and interesting.
Joelle, our wonderful new addition to the panel.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was amazing. I'm so excited to talk Star Wars every week. My name is Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique every week at Black Girl Nerds. Check out my Twitter this Friday. There is a 95% chance I will be at the Star Wars premiere. So if I am, I will be tweeting it out and talking to you guys and doing the Periscope stuff. So stay there for that. And you can join me tomorrow right here at AfterBuzz. Oh my gosh, what time do we start? 10, I think? Incorporated. It's amazing. Come check us out.
So jealous.
Your chance of being at the Rebels premiere is much greater than mine is. Like, mine is like very, very slight. Anyway, I'm Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet, wherever Emma Fyffes are sold, at my name, Emma Fyffe. Hey guys, you should all tune in to Screen Junkies on Thursday at 4 o'clock p.m. for a very special edition of movie fights that is going to be all Star Wars themed. And yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, girl.
You should tune in and support me. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yes. Also, you can see me on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz TV. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know everything that I am doing because I tweet a lot. Thank you so much again to everybody who joined us live in watching on the YouTubes, in the live chat, in hashtag. Remember, you can keep using that hashtag to tweet at us throughout the week if you have any more thoughts that you want to share on Star Wars Rebels. And guys, we will see you all again here, same time, same place next week for the mid-season finale.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
May the Force be with you.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.